at York Mills Collegiate amongst all these young and fertile minds for Real Canada, reaching out to the high school masses in Toronto to expose them to the distinguishing characteristics of great Canadian film. Okay, we're here in the we're actually here in the drama room, which a few minutes ago Paul Gross was talking to a bunch of students here at York Mills Collegiate who are very curious about what Real Canada is all about, what Canadian film is all about. And now you were here in front of me. I got to start talking to you about something you brought up during the discussion. I found it really interesting about feature films. Like Canada can do feature films as well, and that would make us more competitive. But I'm wondering if actors start here and then go to the States to do other films, it's not possible that they could still come to Canada and do the documentary thing. We never really talked about that. Even American actors come here to do a documentary that doesn't pay a lot of money. Independent film, what I meant to say.
Independence, yeah. No, I think that's what we need to be more mindful of. You know, we export an enormous amount of our talent, and we don't exactly create an environment that makes them want to return. The English are much better at this, for instance. All of their actors, their stars, we know them all, Jude Law, Kate Winslet, etc. They work in films out of the studio, but they come back and they work in films in the UK for much less money. I mean, these are independent films. And, you know, if you think about our own country, currently we have Ellen Page and Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams and Mike Myers and Jim Carrey and the list goes on forever. And we need to have those people return. So we need to make sure that we work to create an environment that makes them want to return. I have no idea how you define who you are without having a solid cultural fabric. You can't define yourself as a country because you have a trade arrangement with Colombia. You define yourself as a country because you say these are our authors. We have extraordinarily strong literary literature. These are our singers, and we have extraordinarily strong output of singers. It's in the area of cinema where and television where we need support. And I don't mean that we need more money out of the government. We need to make the system work for bringing the most that we can to the Canadian public. The cynicism of Toronto you don't encounter elsewhere. If you're in St. John's, boy, you know you're in a place that loves Canada. If you're in Calgary, you know, and you're in a place that loves Canada, it may hate Toronto, but it loves the country. Toronto is uniquely cynical. And that's something that really needs to we need to look at. Why are we so mean to each other? And Toronto is talking about the arts to the arts and the critics to the artists. It's a very strange relationship. And you don't encounter, I'll give you a great example. Due South came out, and it was reviewed, when the pilot came out, it played everywhere in North America, and it was reviewed in every single city. And at that time, there weren't like stringer writers. Every paper, every city had a critic. And we had, I don't know how many that would be, 350, 400 papers. We had, and every review was from good to excellent, with the exception of 2 terrible reviews, and both of them were in Toronto. It is known as a particularly tough place for movies and for TV.
Okay, so what did you learn today about Canadian film?
I learned that it is a big industry, and big films can happen here, even though it may take a little more work than it is to make a film in the United States. But there definitely is a lot of talent in Canada, and I think we should embrace that, and the industry should embrace that, because it's a really good thing for us to see that this is happening here.
Okay, now how do you feel about Canadian films?
I feel they're good. They're a lot better than they were a couple of years ago, so I think they're moving up the chain. Like, they're becoming bigger and much more known. Like Juno, for example, it's become like a bigger movie, and like Canadian actors are getting a lot more recognition.
We're just wrapping up here at York Mills Collegiate. This is a great scene of how school really is. But it's interesting how Real Canada came in here and really immersed film into the minds of the youth. And that means that we're really at the beginning of a new chapter in Canadian film. I'm Michael Yard. You're watching TDot TV, Toronto Lifestyle on the Dot. When I was sitting there doing my thing, I wasn't thinking about doing a show. I was thinking about delivering the words to the audience based on how I was feeling about the day.